Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to beat Tears of the Goddess, or in a more general sense, an artifact that gives energy. So in Tap Heroes, energy is one of the core um, mechanics to battling. Basically, at full energy, which is considered 100 energy, your character or hero is going to cast their main active skill. And the earlier you do this, it tends to make a bigger impact in battle. So that's why energy artifacts are so great. Have you seen the picture above me? Tears of the Goddess at maxed out level, it gives 50 energy, some attack, and HP. But recently they've added a new artifact called Star Shards, which you can see in the Moonstone shop. It costs a 200 Moonstone and is probably the most sought out artifact in the game now that Tear of the Goddess isn't, well, since Tear of the Goddess isn't purchasable. So the most you may not think this is relevant now if you're watching this video and you're new to the game, but by end game or late game, you will encounter people who have this because moonstones, while they can give specific heroes, most of the top players understand that this artifact is going to be the first thing you spend your moonstones on when you can get 200. Also, at this particular time, this video is really relevant because they just finished an event where they were giving Tear of the Goddess for completing the maps. So you collected map pieces and you spent them on these like little ships. And if you did all ships, which was 1,200 map pieces, then you got Tears of the Goddess. And for those of us who have been playing a long time, they actually awarded a Tears of the Goddess for um, for key event reward, 500 keys. But for the rest of the video, I'm going to call it the energy artifact because there are two of them. They do have different stats, but they do give 50 energy each. And like I said, the important part about that is that if you give it to a hero, they can cast their main skill on the first round. And this is huge. This is like this impacts battles so much because CC is so relevant in PvP, and there are heroes that can mass or AoE CC. CC means crowd control, and in Tap heroes, you're talking about stuns, you're talking petrifies, silences, freezes. So this is big. So Tears of the Goddess definitely a game changer, and this is why we need to figure out how to beat it. And before we really get to that, I do want to emphasize that in the current video, there aren't many ways to beat it, and that's why it's so good. And eventually, you'll notice that they're going to come out with more heroes that will be able to help you deal with this, I believe. But there are also new heroes coming out that benefit from Tears of the Goddess a lot. So this video should always be relevant. So first off, let's talk about who Tears of the Goddess is good on, because to know how to counter it, we really have to figure out who's going to use it and how can we counter them. Because there is no like energy drain. There is on some heroes, but not relevant to beating Tears of the Goddess. So let's talk about who can use it. And I'm going to go here to the gallery. And if you look at the tier list, or if you ask any player, they're going to tell you that the three main users of Tears of the Goddess that can benefit the most, or that I wouldn't say benefit the most, but they need it to be relevant, are first off, it's Freya. So Freya is a very common hero. Most people who are building a Hell unit are going to build Freya because you get a free one at level 100, I think, and then you can buy her in the soul shop for soul stones. She costs about 5,000, I think. So yeah, it's 5,000 soul stones, and so Freya is very common and probably one of the best heroes to use Tear of the Goddess on because she has a a 6-man petrify possibility. If you read her first skill, it deals damage to all enemies, and there's a 30% chance to petrify them for 2 rounds. That's really good. It's very RNG, very random, but it is really, really strong. So, Tears of the Goddess on Freya. So I should talk about this because this is really important. So speed is is one of the main components of PvP. And if you watch this video, you probably understand that already. But if you have high speed, you're going to cast before someone else with lower speed. So the higher your speed, the faster or the higher priority you have in casting your skill, basically. And Freya has high speed, and she also has really good AOE CC. So she's one of the best users of Tears of the Goddess, or any energy artifact, I should say. And let's talk about her speed specifically. So I had to do some calculations. Uh, and Freya's one. Let's see who else is really good. Mars is also one of the best uses of Tear of the Goddess because, or energy artifacts. I keep saying that because he has a 60% chance to stun enemies for 2 rounds. He hits 4 random enemies. That's really good. So, like I said, AoE stun is what we're looking for. Another one that's going to be really popular now is Phoenix. And Phoenix is a cleric, so they're really fast. Remember that. And Phoenix, the reason Tear of the Goddess is so great on Phoenix is because when they cast their skill, uh, when Phoenix is alive, allies deal extra damage to burning enemies. This is big. So you're just doing anyone who's currently burned or burning is going to take 30% of his attack extra damage. That's a lot. And when he casts his skill, he hits everyone with burns. They can dodge it, but it's likely that he'll hit a lot of people. Also, he reduces their energy early on, or their defense early on, and he gives someone else 100 energy, meaning they can also cast their skill on the first turn. So this is big. This is really big. So Phoenix, the strongest hero in the game, likes this artifact. So let's look at the speed of each of these heroes. So for Freya, her base speed is 1234. For Mars, his base speed is 1236. And for Phoenix, base speed. I say base speed, but I'm considering guild tech as part of this because most people will have their cleric guild tech maxed out. If you go to the guild tech in the guild area here, go to tech, you'll see the cleric is the only class that has the option to level up speed. So every cleric is getting 100 speed at the end of the late game, basically, because this is a really high priority to level in guild tech. So let's take that in consideration. So Freya is at 1234, Mars 1236, and then Phoenix is at 1286. He's definitely the fastest because he's a cleric. So let's go to this. So you'll see that my Phoenix has 1230 has 1356, and the reason for this is there's also something called a speed rune, and runes you can go up to red 2-star. That's the highest rank. It's kind of expensive to get there, but the speed rune is very sought after. Like everyone's trying to get the speed rune, and the reason is 70 speed is a lot. It makes slow heroes able to outspeed like someone who doesn't have a speed rune, if they're not a cleric, is most likely going to get outsped even by the slowest hero if they have a speed rune. That's not true for everyone, especially not clerics, but that in a general sense, that's about right. And so the speed rune gives you 70 speed. So I added that to the right there. Now notice that I didn't add the speed boots, or there's some artifacts that give speed. The reason for this is if you have Tear of the Goddess or an energy artifact, then you can't also have the boots equipped, and those boots give 42 speed. So anyway, let's move on. So the speed rune gives Freya 1304 speed, Mars 1306, and Phoenix 1356. So in this order, Phoenix would cast first, Mars would cast second, and Freya would cast last. But I mean, these are all really fast heroes, so they're actually outspeeding a majority of the other heroes. These might be the fastest heroes in the game, besides some of the other clerics, which I'm going to bring up. So what I want to talk about is the counter. And most of you probably already know this, but there's some calculations that go into effect. There is a hero that can counter them, and the solution is this right here. Domino level 3. Passive skill, basic attacks deal damage, 70% of attack, to 4 random enemies, and 50% chance to inflict a silence on one of those or any of those enemies for 2 rounds. This silence silence doesn't let you cast your skill. If you're silenced, you just basic attack instead of casting your main skill, even if you have full energy. So the hero that can do this is Shed Mel. So Shed Mel, you can see on my screen, is the one with Domino. Shed Mel is a cleric, has a really good healing, like insane healing. Decent attack. It heals the whole team, by the way, and has a dot. But really, all this stuff is okay. This is really why you want to build Shed Mel. Really, what makes her stand out over all the other undead heroes, which I'll talk about in another video. But this 50% chance to silence, not only I think it's really important that people forget this and they're thinking, oh, whatever, I get silence, I'll just cast my skill later. It's not just that. Your silence, you didn't get your caster skill on the first turn. Also, you're stuck with an energy artifact for the rest of the fight. And the energy artifact means you're losing out on a lot of other base or stats that you could have had with a regular artifact. Things like higher attack, higher crit chance, skill damage. You're going to miss out on a lot of that because you took the energy artifact to cast on the first turn. So it's not just canceling out Tear of the Goddess or an energy artifact. It's also like kind of countering your hero. So, Shed Mel is the answer to Tear of the Goddess, guys, but that's not all. There's some other calculations that go into this. And so, I did the math for us, so you're just gonna have to look at this. Pretty easy. So, Shed Mel's speed base is 1288. So, 1288 is already base faster than all the other heroes, so you should be good. But then, if if you equip an artifact and you try to, if you think you're gonna outspeed people just by saying, hey, I'm gonna go attack rune, and then I'm gonna go the speed artifact, like the one I've equipped right now, it gives you 42 speed. That only puts you at 1330 speed. Now look up top. The speed, well, that would counter Freya and Mars. It doesn't counter Phoenix or any of the other clerics really. Like if no one's gonna do this, but if you had a Drow or if you had like a Riley or some other hero that's a cleric and you wanted to equip Tears of the Goddess on them for some reason, then this won't work on them. So you can't really equip the artifact. So, but if you look at if you have the speed rune in this case, then you get up to 1358, and you'll notice that is 2 faster than Phoenix. So this is perfect. You want the speed rune is absolutely necessary on Shed Mel if you want this to work. Shed Mel has to be faster. Here's the problem with Shed Mel not being faster. Um, not only do they get to cast Tear of the Goddess, but she won't even CC other people because there's a chance if you look at Shed Mel's skills there's a chance that if she gets hit by an energy artifact user that uses an AoE like Freya, like Mars, like Phoenix, these three, then she has the chance to gain 40 energy, which basically on her next turn, she casts her main skill, which she's the only hero that's like this. But when Shed Mel casts her main skill, you're actually losing out on a lot of CC because this only works on basic attacks. Domino only works on basic attacks. It's really important to remember. So you need Shed Mel to be faster than Phoenix or any of these heroes because if she does get this to proc, then she is giving you more healing, but she's not doing what is really strong, and that's a 4-man potential silence. Um, okay, but here's the cool part. You see, I have both, and at both it gives me 1400 speed. I'm really fast now. Like Shed Mel is super fast, but that's actually not the most efficient way to use Shed Mel. In fact, I personally use the Soul Torrent. Attack is great on healers, it boosts their heals. Skill damage is okay, and then hit rate is always good because people are building dodge now. And what this does, if you only have the artifact, or sorry, if you only have the rune, that puts you at 1358, right? So you're still faster than everyone, you still make that cut, but you also get the benefit of using the artifact, and that's why Shudmail is so great. Like they made the developers made it so it's perfectly outspeeding these heroes. I mean, there is one hero out there, but it's not really relevant. But I'm pretty sure Drow does. You would need both, but that's not relevant to this video because Drow is not going to have an energy artifact most of the time. Anyway, the end of the TLDR or whatever, or DW. So you want Shudmail. It counters Tear of the Goddess or Star Shards, the energy artifacts. But you want Shedmel to have only the speed rune, and you want to give her a better artifact. In personal preference, Soul Torrent. That's it, guys. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments, or join the Discord and ask me. Team composition does matter, and things like that. But in general, this is why Shudmel is so great, and this is how we're going to beat this energy artifact epidemic that we have. Because if you've been playing for a while now, you potentially have 2 already, and a third one is coming up soon with the Moonstones. So everyone better start building your Shudmel. She's in the advanced wheel. Um, you can get her from energy artifacts. Yeah, she's not easy to get, but advanced wheel helps a lot. So always be looking for Shed Mel and definitely build her this way because it's the way to go. Thanks for watching.